Okay, so I saw these watercolour paints on another YouTube channel and I thought they were really good, and I really want to get back into using watercolours again. So I thought I'd get a new palette and try to get some more inspiration for everything. This was actually reasonably priced. I think it was £19.99p, so it's on the cheaper side for watercolours. But the colours looked really nice and vibrant, so I thought I'd give them a go. So let's have a look. So we've got a nice little swatch card included. Also with these watercolours there was also a water brush. This is 32 watercolours, so there is a lot of colours included. So let's get on and make a swatch card. So I'm just going to spray these watercolours and let the water sit in for a minute. Okay, so they're quite quick to activate. I haven't got to work them a lot, so that's always nice. Starting with a white is always helpful. White on white card. Perfect. It's a very bright and very pigmented yellow. So you might see I've got two glasses of water here to rinse off my brush. One's for dirty water and then another just to quickly rinse it again to make sure there's no pigments from previous paints in there, just so you get an actual idea of what each colour is without it being sort of contaminated by the other colours. So I'm just going to speed this up really quickly here, because who wants to watch me doing swatches? So as you can see, the colours are actually really quite bright and vibrant. I mean, I love the purple selection that they've given. The thing I will say is all the reds, they seem to be of a similar pigment, especially those sort of ones down the bottom. Very slightly different, but not by a great deal. So that might be worth keeping in mind. The blues are really nice. The greens, again, a couple of them are kind of similar. But I think all in all, for a cheap watercolour set, you get some really bright colours. As I've said before, I'm a complete noob when it comes to watercolours, but I used to use them a lot in school, so I really wanted to improve with them. And what better way to improve and feel really motivated than to buy a brand new palette and just get painting again. So let's test these colours out and get to painting something. So this was actually a quick sketch I did in my sketchbook, and I've just transferred it over to some watercolour paper and taped it down to my drawing board. I'm just doing a really quick background wash over the back just to lay down some slightly murky colours and actually just get round to painting it. So I've just dropped in some greens and blues because I wanted it to feel really swampy and like actual lake water. I'm really going to have to invest in an actual mop brush because I don't actually have any brushes that's sort of made for doing background washes or anything. I've only got like a slightly fatter round brush, so I think that's going to be my next purchase, is a nice big fat wash brush. So this whole painting is kind of a experiment for me. It's just a massive practice. I haven't actually used watercolours in a really long time, other than just to do a quick like background wash or anything. I used to use them a lot when I was at secondary school, but that was always really like basic painting. It was never doing really nice pieces or anything, and I really want to get better at it. I keep watching YouTube videos from artists and things, and it just makes me so jealous that they make it look so easy. And it takes a lot of practice, like anything. You need to find motivation to practice, and sometimes when you're not feeling too confident, finding that motivation is super difficult. I think, especially when you're starting out, you think it's going to be easy just to suddenly get better. And it takes a long time, and especially when you're looking at artists and you know what's good and what looks good and what works, but when you actually sit down to paint it or draw it yourself, it's never quite the same, and it takes a lot to get into your head that that's okay, you're practicing, nothing has to be perfect. So I moved off from using my drawing board on to actually taping it down onto my desk. I find that easier, especially when doing details and things, because I find if it's on just a big fat drawing board, I find it moves about a lot. Suddenly I'm nudging myself and making mistakes, especially on the drawing board I was using. I mean, that's an A1, A2 size board, so it's huge to try and do little minute details and things. Although I can't seem to get away from using Pentel brush pens, I just love them. I find them so smooth to use. They're probably the one thing that I will use on every single piece that I ever do. They just seem to like finish a piece for me. I think there's always that sort of one thing that always feels like you've finished it, and for me that's using the brush pens. I've just always felt more comfortable just using black ink for things, and that's what this whole practicing with watercolours is to use colour, and to try and build some sort of practice of colour theory into me. I have always worked in sort of grayscale or just black and white, and I wish I'd spent more time when I was younger using colour. But hey, I'm teaching myself how to use it now. It's gonna take a while, but I will be fine. I'll be fine, right? No, of course I'll be fine. I mean, that's what practice is for. I mean, no one else has to see it other than yourself. If it looks rubbish, move on, learn from it, and try again. And keep trying until you get it right. And even then, you still learn, even when you think you're getting things right. Because that's what life is about, learning from experiences and trying new things, taking on what life throws at you. And sometimes it throws a lot at us, and sometimes we can't see where we're supposed to be going with it, but eventually life finds a way and sorts itself out. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes it's not so good. But we learn and develop throughout, and that's what makes us human, learning from mistakes and learning from the happy accidents. And I have gotten way too deep, so I think I'm just gonna fade off and let you enjoy the video. So I hope you like this video. I've actually learnt a lot whilst painting this. Pretty happy with the outcome. I think I've almost overpainted it. I feel like some of the colours are darker than what I originally wanted, but I think as a learning experience it's really worked out. For the actual watercolour palette I was using, I actually really liked using them. The colours are nice and vibrant and they didn't take too much messing about to activate, and I managed to get a nice tonal range from them, even with being really vibrant saturated colours. So if you're looking for a really cheap watercolour palette just to learn and practice with, especially if you're a beginner, I really recommend this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video because I really enjoyed making it. So don't forget to click like and subscribe and follow me for the future videos.